So everyone, and welcome. So I've been asked to make an 90% route guide again, now that my old one is really far outdated. My old one's like half a year outdated almost. I mean, it's only like 2 months, but with all of the stuff we've done, it feels like it's over half a year. Anyway, so first off, before we start the run, a few things to note is we're gonna run the game using our live split on in-game timer. I'm not gonna go too deeply into the live split stuff itself. I think you can read some stuff on speedrun.com about it, or just come into Discord and ask about people. But yeah, you're gonna use probably live split, and you should use it on in-game time, which takes the loading times out. But I'm not gonna do it right now for the purpose of demonstration. So we're gonna start a game. The timer starts as soon as we press new game right here. And what's gonna happen is we're gonna get a loading screen, during which I usually pour myself a cup of something to drink, because it takes like 30 seconds for my PC. So my PC is really bad, but it's okay, because if you're running the game with live split and load times cut out, you don't have to worry about that, because it's not part of the timer. So now the loading screen is over, you're gonna get a cutscene, you're just gonna spam Y to skip it. Very easy. Only is possible after the patch. If you're running this on console and the patch hasn't come out yet by the time of watching this video, then just don't run it on console yet, unless you want to play with cutscenes, and playing with cutscenes will make you really demotivated. Probably, at least it made most people demotivated. And once cutscene skip is on console as well, it's gonna save like 8 minutes or 10 minutes worth of the run. So yeah, that's pretty good. So now that we've started the run, we can't really do anything but jump, but we don't need anything else. We're just gonna come over here and we're gonna have a little bit of a hop and make our way to Trowzer. Now, once again, after the patch, we can just hold down Y button and speed up all this dialogue. Now, you know the dialogue is over when all of the text boxes are flying off the screen like that. And what we're gonna do is, we're actually not gonna get quills, but if you're playing this on a different route, you might need to get quills. Now, there's different routes for this. There is the 1 Pagie route, which I think is what I'm gonna be showing off. And there's also the 3 Pagie route, and there's the, I think it was 16 Pagie, or 12 Pagie, the 12 Pagie flight full route. So, if you want to know anything about the 3 Pagie route, or about the 12 Pagie route or whatever, I am not going to be talking about it right now. But yeah, that quill would be something that you would get in a 3 Pagie route, as well as that Pagie over there. But if we're doing 1 Pagie, we're just doing this. And we're just going to jump over here, and the reason why we're doing any of this is because we want to skip getting all the quills for Trowzer. Now, this right here, what I'm doing is called Trowzer skip, where you jump over all of these different trees to make it to the other side. Now, I jumped to the this part of the branch right here, but if you're going for world record, you can jump all the way to the front of this branch from that tree over there. And I think this is what I'm going to do with the guide. I'm going to show you how to play through the game in this route on the most safe way to do it for the most part. But the better you get at the game, the more comfortable you get playing the game, the more you can try and cut corners, the more you can see, oh, maybe I can make the jump a bit more optimized. You can try and optimize everything a bit more. But for starters, just do a route that's safe and actually makes it so you can get through the game. And let's say on the leaderboard right now, if you're playing a safe route, but you play it perfectly, you can still make top 3. You might not quite be able to get world record, but you can still make it very close to world record, because the game has not been that highly optimized in the second half at least yet of the run. The first part is very optimized actually. So now you're at a bit of a crossroads. You can just continue the run, or you can get the health extender. I would say that if you're starting to run the game in like your first 20 or 30 runs even, get the health extender. Makes it way easier. Because the biggest difficulty of the run is the final boss, and the final boss gets a lot easier if you have this. Okay, maybe not a lot easier, but it becomes easier. By the way, every single time you get any sort of text box pop up on screen, just hold down the Y button. Okay, come over here, we're gonna jump on this, come over here. Now once again, you can come over here and you can actually just do a double jump and then go immediately over like that. But if you're starting out, just do like an not an auto attack, just do a jump attack up here, so you actually don't accidentally slide off, because if you do it a little bit bad, you might slide off and you're like, I can't get up. So just do that, do a jump attack just for safety, at least when you're starting out running the game. And once you're up here, you do this, bam, and it skips a cutscene. So that's the first part, the Shipwreck Creek, or is it Shipwreck Cove? I actually forget all the time. So now if you're running this on patch, you're gonna have to worry about the camera swinging around here. But, camera, I don't know why they did that with the camera. It's a bit weird. You might lose a second over that in a run. Accidentally pressing the wrong direction when walking through a gate. So now we're gonna get introduced to what Pagies are. He's gonna talk to us about it, and we actually have to get the Pagie. The reason, by the way, you can skip this as well, just mash Y there. The reason why we have to get this Pagie is because all the way over there, there's an invisible wall up that ramp, and we cannot get up there. Theoretically, we could get up that ramp without roll, but because of that invisible wall, we actually have to get this Pagie and unlock roll. Otherwise, we cannot make it past there. So at this point, you can do there's multiple different ways of doing this. Like for example, you can go over here and do a jump up there if you have got good double jump timing. There's also another thing you can do, which I think is the currently fastest route, where you do this bonk, and you like sort of land on this, and then you like sort of make your way up here like that. That's the route that most people currently use, because it's like the fastest and it's not actually that difficult, I would say. So now you got the Pagie. As soon as you collect the Pagie, make sure you actually got the Pagie, don't do it before. You're gonna use start and you're gonna go save and quit. Now when you're up here, you can't actually go up to scroll down the menu, you actually have to maneuver your way down. A little bit of a small thing right there. So you're gonna get a loading screen out here. The loading screen is not part of the timer, of course, and you're gonna have to mash A in order to go in. That's why we run on file number 1. So if you have something on file number 1 that you want to keep, well, tough luck. If you want to have the fastest time, you want to delete that, so you can mash A there, and you don't have to change anything, like switch between files. So you're gonna come in here, bonk. Actually, I don't know if does it save your pointer if you mash? I don't actually know that. It might actually save your pointer. Anyway, so you're gonna come in here and you're gonna talk to Trowzer. Just nothing too special. It's gonna give you this camera movement right here, which you can't skip. And you're gonna you can already hold down the roll button and have your control stick point to like the top right. You can already do that, because as soon as this cutscene ends, you're gonna break into a roll and go top right, or even right, somewhere in that direction. There we go. We're just making our way to the first world right now. So once again, skip this dialogue. We'll never save this Pagie. So coming up is one of the hardest tricks of the run, at least apart from the final boss, and this is early waterworks. So you're gonna make sure to not accidentally walk too far here. You're just gonna like sort of go to this bush over here. It's actually fairly lenient. You don't have to worry too much about, oh my god, I need to make sure I don't accidentally go too far. It's fairly lenient actually, but don't chance it, of course. And what you're gonna do is you're just gonna jump over this bush and hold towards and like walk towards the wall like that. And now you're through the wall. It's actually that simple. So this early waterworks, there might be a skip in the video right here, like there might be a cut here in case I fail this and I need to re-record this. But this trick can easily be failed even if you have a bunch of experience with it. So if there's a cut right here, you know that I failed and I have to re-record this. But here, let me see. This is early waterworks. What you're gonna do is, now that we're out of bounds, we want to make it to the way towards the waterworks, but we want to make sure to not accidentally clip back in bounds. The hardest part of this entire trick is already the first jump. After the first jump, the rest is not that difficult. And the reason first jump is that difficult is because we need to do something called a pipe jump. So you see this red pipe right in front of me, not the one to the left, the one to the front of me to the right here. Basically, you have this pipe that's like pointed towards the out of bounds area, and the actual wall crosses between the end of that pipe. And what we want to do is we want to land on the out of bounds section of that pipe, and we don't accidentally want to clip back in bounds. We don't actually want to end up over here, because if we clip back in bounds, we can't do anything anymore. Now something to note is that you need to like envision like a tiny invisible rectangular platform that is situated at like the outer end of that pipe, and you want to land on that invisible platform. You can do that by like sort of trying to line yourself up with it, like I like right now, like lined up with the invisible platform at the very end of that pipe. If I want to visualize it, I actually have like a few centimeters of the pipe itself, and then a few centimeters that are like to the left of the pipe, but in midair. It's kind of like that. So the center of that invisible platform is the very outer edge of that pipe up there. So another thing to worry about is as soon as you land on that pipe, you're gonna need to do a jump, an attack to the left and walk off with that. Because what happens is, if you land on that pipe and you didn't clip in bounds, what's gonna happen is you're gonna slide off the pipe. And in order to not slide off the pipe, you need to instantly do an attack and go left. Now what I see a lot of people do when they like train for this is they press attack too early. If you press attack too early, you're gonna do a jump attack, like a mid-air attack, and you're gonna fall off. If that happens, if you like try and jump on it and you accidentally do this attack right here, the mid-air attack, then you know you've done it too early. I would say for practicing this, actually first you want to practice landing on the pipe first, and then reacting and inputting the attack. Only once you've actually gotten a feel for it, like landing on the pipe, only when you've gotten a feel for landing on the pipe, that is when you sort of automate the entire movement, where you time in your head, when do I need to do the attack? Oh, that's when I need to do the attack. But now for training, just try and land on the correct spot and then do the attack. Now I'm gonna try to do the jump. If I fail the jump, there's gonna be a cut right here, like I said earlier, so let's see what happens. And that is how you do the jump. That was my second try, actually. Ha! My first try was really bad. So as soon as you land on that pipe and you do the attack to the left, you're going to do a double jump around this big pipe that you see right here, this giant pipe with the boats running through it. Jump around that one, do a jump attack over here. The jump can actually be fairly close depending on your timing. And now that we've landed up here, theoretically, if you want to go for a world record, like the ultimate world record even, like, because you can probably even get world record without this, but if you want to get a really good time, what you can do is right now you start rolling and you roll across the next path I'm going to show you. So you start rolling now and you only stop rolling when you've completed the entire trick. That is something that is pretty hard. I would not recommend this at all if you're just dying to run the game. If you're just dying on the game, just jump around here normally. And only when you've gotten fairly comfortable to the route, that is when you start rolling. So I'm going to show you the normal way. So we're just going to make our way around here. You just need to remember where to go. Now here you can lay a little bit around. You can fall down to that pipe almost near the bottom, or you can all go all the way over here. If you're going without rolling, it doesn't really matter too much. And what our goal is, we want to get all the way down here and land on this button. And then actually make sure to press the button, because we're going to need this gate open. And also something to note is when you jump on top of this pipe that I'm in right now, you need to actually like stand on the pipe for like half a second, and then you get clipped in bounds. So if you stand on the pipe, and I think if you keep jumping, I don't think you actually clip back in bounds. So you actually need to stand on that pipe and not do anything for like half a second. Now we're gonna come through here into this pipe, and our goal right now is we need to get glide. And in order to get glide, we need to go to the hub in front of World 2. So we've got long load times, you can always take a sip. Remember to stay hydrated, even while running any percent. So we're gonna come out here. It's fast. There's actually two different things that could happen when you come out of the pipe. One of those things is, it's gonna be right there where you can see the air bubbles to the left, and you're gonna be in like diving mode. Or you can be in like resurfacing mode where you don't have the bubbles, and you can lay out like trying to resurface while you're trying to go through while you're going through the pipe. What you want to be in is the resurface mode, where you guys like trying to make it back up. But I don't actually think we ever found out a consistent way of doing that. Some people just seem to get it all the time, but I've asked a few people around, and people don't seem to quite know. But maybe if you ask around, maybe someone will know by the time that you're running the game. So we're gonna come over here and archive this, we're gonna clip us through the wall. If it somehow doesn't clip you through the wall, just don't hold anything on the control stick and it should clip you through. So we're not gonna get any. By the way, we're not gonna get any more pages, and we're not gonna get any more quills. This is a 1 page 0 quill run. We're gonna come through here. It's gonna clip us through this gate as well, no problem. Now sometimes you'll be in a bad spot and like hit you multiple times because they're really big assholes. Sometimes they won't. So we're just gonna talk to this guy because we need glide. We actually really need glide. Well, theoretically we could beat the game without glide, but it's not faster as far as I know. Because it's a really big hassle to do all the stuff that we're gonna do without glide. So we're gonna come back here because now we want to actually go to the final boss of the game. Yes, we're already going to the final boss of the game. The any percent route for this is pretty much like Donkey Kong 64. We'll clip through a bunch of walls and then it's final boss time. So we're gonna come down here. This is why we needed to make sure that we had this gate right here open. So let's see if we can be in resurfacing mode. And I'm gonna show off what happens when I'm in that mode. I don't think I have time to explain it. Okay, I'm not. So what our next goal is, we need to make it to the last hub of the game. In order to do that, we need to get up to this platform right here. Now, I want to say safe version, or the slow version is you sort of bump this book up and down until it's like bobbing a bit. And then when it's on its like a high, one of its high points, you do this and you sort of glide to it. But you need to worry about the book bouncing a little bit, so not actually that simple to do. And you do want to do an attack off that makes it a bit nicer to control your height. And then you sort of jump over here like this and over here. Now, if you got the resurfacing mode, what you can do, actually I can do it in the diving mode as well, but it's a bit harder. You want to be resurfacing, and you can kind of see what you want to do there. You want to sort of double jump out of the water and make it up onto this ledge. Now the problem is, if you're just swimming like this and you try and double jump, you can't actually make it. As much as you try, you can't make it. So what we want to do is we want to be resurfacing, and while we resurface, there's a certain time, like at the very last second before we go from diving to swimming on the surface, if we do a jump at that point, we actually jump way higher than if we were to jump from a swim. And if you're in resurface mode, it becomes quite a bit easier to do that. But you can do it from a regular dive as well, but the timing is a bit less lenient in my opinion at least. So now that you've done that, you come over here. If you want to kill those guys if you want to, doesn't matter. And you want to go around this side. There's actually multiple ways of doing this. You can do it like this, and then jump up to the side, or there's a different way you can do, which is a lot more consistent. Let's see if I can do this again. Once you've gotten a feeling for how much you can swim out of the water before starting to swim, that's when you can do it. Another way you can do is you come up here and go to this route, and sort of just fly over here. I think there's actually like 4 other ways or so of doing this. But I think if you want to go for world record, you want to go around this side, because I think this is the fastest. Go around this side, double jump to the side and go up here. If you accidentally miss the double jump, you can try and land on this little metal part right below me, this little metal window, whatever it is, and then try and do a jump up here. Don't try and land on this pipe over there, because this pipe over there, if you land on it, you're going to slide off, even if you land on the very top of it. And now for the last part, we're just going to come over here and do this. Whee! Now we're going to have a quiz. The quiz is now extremely fast with the skip text button. So what you're going to have to worry about though is getting picture questions. If you get picture questions, they're gonna be slower than non-picture questions all the time. So when I hold down the Y button, as if you're playing, I'm just gonna say for the controller, if you're playing this on keyboard or mouse, then God have mercy on your soul. So we're gonna do this. So for example, I can't pause right now, as you would imagine. So what you're gonna have is, if you skip all the questions, you're gonna only see like the bottom line of the question. So you're gonna have to remember what the bottom line of each question is. But if you like remember questions in full, or if you just play the game a bunch, you'll start to see patterns. So if you get a picture question right here, it's gonna take a little bit of more time. So you're gonna be like, oh, that's very easy as under the palace. You should always get doubles here, I didn't get the first level because I wanted to explain something. Or sometimes you can see that. It's not that, it's actually blaster bowling. But if you get a wrong answer, you don't actually lose that much time, as you see. Getting a wrong answer only wastes like 3 seconds at maximum. So if you have a brain fart and actually miss one of these, as you saw, it doesn't actually lose that much time. So we're gonna come to the end of the entire quiz. If you do the entire quiz perfectly without any question wrong, you will actually get about a 1 minute time from when the quiz starts to when the quiz ends, which is pretty good. So yeah, just remember the bottom lines for each question, which shouldn't be that hard if you just play it a bunch. Like, don't try and go to the internet, look at all the quiz questions, and then look at, oh my god, this is that question, this is that. Just play the game a bunch. Just keep playing the game, and you're gonna see all these questions multiple times, and you're gonna get used to what the questions are. And if you do make a mistake, like I showed, you don't actually lose that much time. So now we're coming up on the final trick of the run, apart from the final boss fight. And this is the flightless elevator door skip. So the flightless elevator door skip, the first part of it is we're gonna clip through this wall down here. Now, very important, no, not turtles. If you go in here and you go to display, you're gonna see a bunch of VSync options. As far as we know, the lower the frame rate of the game is, the easier it is to clip through the wall. At least I think that's what it is. I think the lowest frame rate is on half VSync. You can already see that. Oh my god, the frame rate is awful. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna come in here. You're gonna have to do a roll, sort of like an air attack like that. And I'm gonna show it again. What you want to do is you want to jump into the water first. No, not really water. Take damage. And after you've taken damage, you want to do a jump and then an air attack at a specific timing. You just need to get used to the timing. And if you get the correct timing, what will happen is, instead of doing the air attack in midair and just sort of spinning in midair, what you're going to do is you're going to do the air attack and you're going to get sucked downwards. You can do this in regular water as well. If you just swim forwards and do a jump, spin it at an air attack, you will usually get sucked down into the water very quickly. And you want to do that while sort of facing into the wall. It can be a bit finicky at times. Like, this is sort of something that you're gonna have to get used to. And now as soon as we made it through, we're gonna do a double jump and fly into the unknown. The reason why we do that is because we want to get the camera to swing around. You could theoretically do the movement, at least the first part of the movement right here, with the camera pointing at the wall, but if you do that, it's going to be really hard to actually figure stuff out, and I do not want to recommend it. I think even the world record does not do it without turning the camera. So now we've turned the camera. First off, I don't actually want my VSync option. This is the only reason why we do VSync. You can do it without VSync if you don't feel like having VSync on for the entirety of the run, but you could just put VSync on. Half VSync is like reduces the frame rate by a half or something. It's actually pretty ridiculous. You can do it with just regular VSync enabled, and that works as well. Or you could do it without VSync enabled, but that makes the clip harder. Like, the more VSync options you have on, the easier the clip is. It's actually really ridiculous. Yeah, VSync just does that. You can turn it on just for this clip and then turn it off like I did right there, but you probably don't want to do that because it wastes a bunch of time doing menuing. So you could just have it on before the run starts and then do it like that. We don't discriminate as far as I know, at least not at this point. Like, at this point it doesn't really matter what VSync options you have, because it's just this clip easier or harder, whatever. So there's actually a bunch of other stuff in the game that changes with VSync, but none of that is part of any %, so whatever. We're gonna jump up here. By the way, if you want to jump up here, the easiest way of doing it is getting right below here and then just do a double jump flutter and it just clips you up there. So usually if you have fly, we can just fly right to the end, but we don't have fly, so we're gonna need to do a whole lot of movement. At any point of me doing this skip right here, I could have a cut because I actually fell down and had to redo the clip. So yeah, just bear with me. So basically, right here, I'm gonna just do a bunch of movement. For the most part, if you want to practice this, just go to this point. You can already do this on like 100% completed save file. You can always do this. Come over here and sort of like follow my movement. Our first goal would be to make it to the top of the casino entrance. In order to do that, we're gonna need to run around here a bunch. go around these sides, come up here. We can almost make it at this point, but we need quite a few more height actually. We're gonna come around here. It's actually possible to do this with just fluttering, but it's a bit hard. So if you want to have it easier, an easier time, or what you should do, it doesn't waste time to do this. So jump, attack, and then flutter. And the timing is a bit weird on the flutter at the end though, but you should get used to that if you do it a lot more. Also something to notice at this point right here, you can sort of see that there's a little bit of a sort of certain hilliness to the thing. Though if you do it from over here, you're gonna be a lot lower than if you do it from all the way up here where you have the maximum height, or if you do it from the right side. And because this jump really requires like maximum height, you want to make sure you do it all the way over here, so you can make it over here. There we go. We're just gonna come up here and we're sort of gonna jump into this, and you can see that you can kind of jump up here and stand. And this coming up is one of the hardest jumps of this trick. There's some harder jumps later, but this is also pretty hard. So we're gonna do a jump attack, a jump to the right here, but first we're gonna do an attack. We're gonna attack off like that and then do a jump. And we're gonna delay our double jump after that. So we do attack, jump, delay the double jump a tiny bit, and then do a flutter. The reason why we do any of that is because we want to get over there to those sort of like standing cards that you see, those little brownish cards over there. And the problem is there's a ceiling right above us, and if we do a really fast double jump, we're gonna bonk our head and we're gonna lose a lot of height, and we're not actually gonna be able to reach it. So this time is actually fairly finicky. I might fail it myself as well. And in order to do this, you just need to practice a bunch. Just practice the double jump timing, practice all of the stuff required to make this jump. You can experiment a bit with different timings and different move orders and see how you can make it over. Like for example, you could try and do this, or without the attack. I think it's actually possible without the attack, but if you want to have a lot easier time, do it with the attack before the flutter. So you do this, delay, do this, and then flutter. Like that timing right there didn't work because I maybe even delayed the double jump too much. Like I said, experiment around a bit, see what works best for you, and once you get better, you can do it nicer. That actually made it, but I slid off. Also, something to note is, as you might have kind of seen right there, the camera like yanks a bit when you get to that point. Oh, whoops. So the problem is, the camera actually wants to be in a specific spot when you go through there, because you sort of bump your head on the ceiling, and I think the game thinks you're trying to go into the casino area, so it like wants to turn your camera around. And the problem with that is it's a lot harder to do the thing with your camera turned around. So you can sort of pick your poison. If you go a bit lower, like I did right there, if you go lower, what happens is the camera does not get bumped, but you might be too low to make the jump. If you get higher, the camera might get bumped, but you might have more height to make the trick. So sort of pick your poison right there. You can see that it's really finicky. It can be really finicky. So once you're up here, you can sort of like roll towards the end of this, or you can just walk. As you can see, we're really up against the ceiling until you reach this part. This one gets a bit easier, but then we are at a ceiling again. So we jump around here. Now we're ceiling again. Oh no, ceiling. But now there's no ceiling anymore. Yeah, I don't know why this works like this. There's a really low ceiling up until now, but now we're a bit free on the movement, so it's awkward. And also, any of the movement that I'm showing off, if you've got a bunch of experience doing this movement, you can always do it faster. If you want to see that, oh, maybe I can do a bit of optimization, just watch the current world record, see what the current world record does at any given point, and they'll probably use the most current optimization. I'm just sort of showing the route, not the exact movement that you have to do. So that's why I'm taking a lot of time talking about certain jumps or whatever. Now we're gonna come over here. Theoretically, there's two ways you can go. There's a left side EDS and a right side EDS. But pretty much everyone is doing the right side EDS because it's way faster than the left one. But you could also do the left one. I'm not gonna show it off though because it takes quite a while and I'm not actually that confident in it. So I haven't trained it that much. Everyone trains the right side EDS nowadays. I think if you just, it might be still a video on the on sr.com, speedrun.com. I'm not sure about that. Either that or you can come into Discord and someone will probably have a video lying around. Or you could just do right side EDS, even though it's harder. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump on the top of this entire corridor, and the problem is, in that corridor there's like a bunch of invisible holes I would like to say that you could fall through. So we're gonna come through here, we're gonna jump on the left side of the corridor, immediately do a jump attack over here, jump and do an attack, jump, and then we're gonna come over here and glide onto this side. You want to make sure that you land on this ledge right here, sort of from the right side. If you land on it from the left side, you might get accidentally bumped by the wall and sort of get shoved away from the ledge and fall off. So sort of make sure that you, when you jump over that corridor over there, you keep doing attacks and jump, attack and jump, so you don't accidentally fall into one of those invisible holes and clip through into the stage. Oh, by the way, something that I haven't mentioned, if you fail this clip, if you fail the skip at this point, it's extremely hard to recover because you probably have to take a death and then try again from the start. And while you could do that, if you're going for the good time, obviously that wastes too much time. If you're just trying to finish a run, you can do that though. And that's something I haven't mentioned way earlier in this entire video. If you fail early waterworks, like if you're out of bounds and you fail, like you fall off, you have to retry the entire trick by restarting the game, because you cannot get out of bounds again. We need to get out of bounds by talking to that one Pagie, and the Pagie is gone, so the only other way to do it is to reset the game. But it's only 2 minutes into the run, so it's not too bad. Anyway, now that we're at this point, this coming up is the hardest part of the trick, and I might once again need to do a cut here in case I fail this. So you remember that one pipe jump that we did at the very start for early waterworks? Now we have to do like 5 of them in a row. Yeah, that's a bit hard. So you see there's a bunch of pipes here, a bunch of blue and red pipes, and we want to make our way all the way across all of these pipes. And all of these are pipe jumps. Now, you can do these in more pipe jumps than other people. Maybe you want to jump from blue to blue to blue to blue, you can do that. Or maybe you jump from blue to blue to red and like sort of like do it in like 3 or 4 pipe jumps. In personal experience, just do what's comfortable for you, which could be just going from every single pipe to the next pipe because you're really comfortable with landing on the pipe if you've got a lot of time to flutter around. Like, don't forget we actually have glide, and with glide we can like sort of angle our way and make sure that we're on the correct spot. We have a lot of more time to make sure that we land correctly on the correct spot of the pipe. Or you can say that, okay, I'm gonna jump past all of these pipes because I'm really confident in how far I can jump, but not very confident in keeping up the stamina to keep landing on pipes. So yeah, I'm just gonna try it, and I'm just gonna do a strategy. I think what I'm gonna do, a blue, blue, red, red or something. I don't know, just do whatever works for you. And yeah, like I said, there could be a cut here in case I fail this. Okay, so now they made onto this sort of corridor that we're standing on right now. This corridor, the ceiling of that one, if you stand on it for too long, you will actually fall through the ceiling, so you have to like keep jumping or keep attacking to not fall through it. But if you do accidentally fall through it like this, don't worry, you can jump on the very outer edge of the wall right here, and if you do it correctly, you can sort of like jump back up. Not that simple, but there you go. Now next up is another part where it's very easy to throw the run. To our right, we have a loading zone that takes us to the shortcut. So you want to make sure that while we do the next jump, we sort of stay on the left side while we walk towards our next goal, or jump towards our next goal. And the next goal is exactly where the 2 arrows are pointing at. They're like showing us the way. And we want to jump to the back side of that lamp that we see there, but we don't want to jump too far forward, otherwise of course we're going to clip back and bounce again. So let's see if we can do it. Like this. Jumping, and we go around this side, and we have these honeycomb-like things. It looks like pipe jumps. They're sort of like pipe jumps, but the only difference that you don't fall off if you stand on the thing for too long, unless you're too far on the outside. So now that we're on this point, our next goal is we want to get into the elevator. In order to do that, we're going to jump to the right side around the big sort of pipe that we see that's big, around the big red pipe. We're going to jump around that and do a very far jump, which means attacking, jump, jump, attack, and flutter. I'm gonna flutter our way right in there if possible. Mash A and we're in there. So now at this point we made it through the all the way to the final boss, I guess. So now the two big tricks, the early waterworks and the flightless EDS, we're done with that. And now it's all about beating the final boss, beating capital B. First up we have a quiz though, but it's exactly the same as the other quiz. You should be done with this in like a minute. Who's lost at sea? It's Dr. Puss. You sort of do at least get to see a tiny bit of how the question starts. Oh, that's Galleon Casino. I also got myself something to drink in the meantime, as I was running out of juice. So, something I should also notice, I maybe should have noted this earlier, but the thing about any percent is, if you want to run this game and you want to have fun and enjoy yourself, don't play any percent. Don't play any percent if you want to have fun playing this game, like seriously. This is not supposed to be an advertisement for any percent, this is just a guide to any percent. I'm only showing you the way, but I'm telling you, maybe it might not be for you. So first off, those two tricks that I just showed you, early waterworks. Early waterworks is alright, there's only really the one pipe jump, and you need to learn pipe jump for the second one anyway. EDS also sort of alright. By the way, you can skip all of these cutscenes. Because, you know, you sort of do need to do multiple pipe jumps, but if you've gotten really used to the pipe jumps, it's alright. From early waterworks, it does both, like both early waterworks and EDS, flightless EDS, they take a bunch of time to get practice and get good at. But once you're good at them, you can, for the most part, replicate them a lot. And you can get good runs going a lot. You might fail them, of course, every now and then, but for the most part, you can get fairly consistent at them. However, the final boss I'm coming to right now, which for any percent is like 40% of the run, like 40% of the any percent run is the final boss. This final boss is extremely inconsistent, really finicky, really hard to get down, can very easily cost you 5 or 6 minutes for like one simple mistake. He's an absolute bastard in this category because we're fighting him without flight, we're fighting him without super slam. If you could theoretically pick up super slam, but for this category, for this route, we're not doing it. Though actually, you could do that, so that's like a side point, I guess. But most importantly, we're also not fighting him without the slurp shots. So we can't make phase 2 go nicely. We can't have the final phase go nicely because we don't have the sonar explosion. We can't make the beast go away. We can't shield against the beast. We can't do anything against the beast at all, apart from rolling away. And this is actually exactly what we're gonna have to do right now. So something to note is, in order to actually hit capital B in these phases where he has bees, where he throws bees at you, what we need to do is we need to outrun the bees until the bees are completely gone. If the bees hit us, we can't hit capital B back. We have to dodge all the bees. So as soon as the bees explode, we're gonna break into a roll and sort of roll around a bit. Make sure the bees are always really far away from us. If they're close, actually doesn't matter. Until he's like, oh shit. Now, the beasts have just dispersed. He's done this. Oh no, they got me. Gesture. When he does that, it means you can attack him. Now, he usually does 3 cycles of bees, so we have to hit him like 3 different times. But as it turns out, we can 2-cycle this phase. How are we gonna 2-cycle this phase? Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw him over like this. Then the cane, you see the cane that he has is like bumped on his bumped into his belly and then fell off him, and right after it bumps into his belly, that's when he becomes vulnerable to attacks. So right after it bumps into his belly, the cane does, and falls to the ground, like pretty much right now. As you can see, like, this might be the first frame where you can attack him, I'm not sure though. At this exact moment, you want to spam your attack button, and what's gonna happen is you're gonna do a very quick 3 hits, so hit, 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 instantly. And then after those 3 hits come in, you're gonna see the animation of Yooka like spinning around doing the purple tail twirl for a bunch. Then another hit is gonna happen during that long animation somewhere in between there, that's like 4 hits. And then after that you're gonna do 3 hits again, so you're gonna once again, while you keep spamming it, Yuka is going to do another 1, 2, 3 combo where it's going to be like hit, hit, hit instantly. And at that point, we've done 7 hits. Now usually what happens is we're going to once again go into this really long animation of Yuka just spinning around, and then at the end of that animation he's going to get hit again. However, that last hit won't actually reach him because he's already standing up and he's not taking any more damage. So what we're going to do is, when we're doing those 3 hits for the second time, right after we got the 3rd hit in, which when you're spamming the button, it's going to be as soon as you see Purple Tail, or maybe even a split second before that. As soon as that happens, we're going to cancel the animation by jumping, and we're going to do a jump attack. And if we do it really, really fast, we are actually able to get in 8 hits. If we manage to get 8 hits just once, we can 2-cycle him. If you don't get it the first time, you can get it the second time, and that's enough for a 2-cycle. Just get it once of these 2. However, because the timing is very finicky, and it also depends on how quickly you were to hit him, like as he got vulnerable. Like right now, I think I wasted too much time because the cane is already hitting the ground, so I might already be too late on the 2-cycle. I might not even be able to do it. So that's a lot of stuff to consider. The current world record doesn't even do it, or doesn't even get it. Maybe at the time you watch this video, the current world record does get it. But yeah, it's pretty finicky. Don't beat yourself up over it if you don't get it. But yeah, like hit, 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 jump, hit. Like that. So it's like hit, 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 jump, hit. Something like that. You have to be really quick on that last hit, and you probably don't get it. I don't even think I got it there. That was terrible. Still made it. That actually got him, nice. So that's about what it should look like. So now we got phase 2, which is quite a bummer. So since we don't have slurp shot, we're gonna have to do some other stuff. What we're gonna do on phase 2, first off, we're gonna see where the fuck he actually is. So he's over there. The first is actually the weirdest. So, okay. Now, once you get him flying away, we're gonna try and get him into a specific pattern. And I'm not actually too good at this pattern myself, so I might screw it up a bunch. This is something that comes from doing it a lot. And I don't play any percent that much, so I haven't done it a lot yet. But what we're gonna do is, he's gonna fly away, and he's gonna land at a specific, he's gonna stop at a specific point, and then he's gonna throw stuff at us. And what we want to do is, right as he's stopping, and even before he pulls out his first bit of ammunition, we're gonna break into a roll, and we're gonna chase at him. Now this all comes down to how comfortable you are knowing where he's gonna stop and when he's gonna attack. And our goal is, right as he pulls out his first beehive, that's when we're gonna start our roll and go at him. So that was a bit late now. And what happens if you're too late? You might get hit like this. If you do it just on time, let's see if I can do it on time. Oh, that's a bit late. That's a bit stupid again. Like, wait for him to stop and do it like that. That was a bit too late, probably. No, that was alright. You can kind of see the timing, like right as he's about to stop, we do it. Now, at some point, so yeah, let me reiterate that. Right as he stops, like the very moment he stops, you want to break into a roll and rush at him. If you're too late, you're gonna get hit, like I did. And if you're too early, he might fly away. So that might be a problem. If you do it just on time, he's, like as you saw, he might accidentally drop his ammunition that he had in his hand. I keep saying ammunition, his beehive. They're explosive, okay? So if he drops the beehive, then you know that you did it well. I mean, I guess if you hit him, you did it well anyway. So at some point, you're gonna run out of energy. If you want, you could also get athlete tonic for this, and that could make it a bit nicer. For getting tonics, by the way, if you want to make it a bit easier, before we do the clip for the elevator door skip, like right as we go into the final hub area, there's a Vendy right there towards the left, so you can talk to that and get athlete or super slam. Personally, I would say athlete for this phase. This phase is a lot nicer with athlete. But what happens if you run out of energy? You're gonna have to play some leapfrogging. So when he attacks, you're gonna leapfrog yourself over, and if he's looking at you, you just sort of stand there like this. So you like leapfrog your way over. And the reason you do it is because you want to get into a specific pattern. You want to get into a specific pattern where you're able to get that hit in without him flying away and without him hitting you. And so you do sort of like go between those to things like, oh, he's about to stop, roll again. And then once we're out of energy, at some point we're gonna do the, we're gonna leapfrog our way over. Be careful, if he drops the beehive, it's still gonna explode, so don't get too close to it. So you just keep repeating this, it's gonna take a while to do this. It's not actually that slow compared to how fast you're supposed to do it with shots. Oh, this thing was in my way. And I think we're about there. You can actually, most of the time you only need like, you only need to do the jump attack phase like once and then your energy regenerates. Like let's say you reload energy after you hit him. So you hit him, you reload energy, you stop rolling, then you do the leapfrogging once, and then right as he stops to throw his next beehive, then your energy might already be regenerating, but it might also not be. It really depends on like really intricate timing. Okay, he should be about done by the way, like 1 or 2 more hits should do it. Oh, that might be a bit odd. Oh, we got him. Okay, now we've done this. The upcoming parts are mostly what you do in regular any percent. I mean, before we knew about all the flightless and EDS stuff and anything anyway. So we're just gonna dodge his stomps and we're gonna hit him after the stomps. If you have Super Slam here, you can do some fast strats. Just ask people about Super Slam strats. But right now we're not doing them. So we're just gonna have to dodge him a bunch here. Another thing to note though during all this is we're gonna have to dodge bees again. Okay, so he jumps down here, bonk, we hit him. Now right here, once again, similar to the to when we did this the first time, as soon as his cane hits his belly, we want to start attacking him. However, this time we only need like 6 hits or something on him. So, or even 5. I don't know, we don't even need that many hits on him. So as soon as he becomes vulnerable, you just start laying into him. However, don't lay into him before he's vulnerable, because if you attack him before he's vulnerable, you might not actually get the 1 cycle. So, now for these bees. You could theoretically just take the damage from these bees and attack him. You could do Super Slam strats, or what you should do is, if you're trying to practice this, actually if you're trying to practice this, you should do Super Slam strats, or just avoid the bees. How do you avoid the bees? Well, right before he does his final slam, you want to break into a roll and go clockwise around the arena. So that's his 3rd one. Now he does his 4th one, so we're gonna do a roll. And we're gonna do clockwise around the arena. Jump over this. And you're probably gonna get it. You're not always gonna get it. Sometimes you might still get hit by it. But you can't really do too much about that. It's a little bit awkward sometimes. Now doing that for the 2nd time you have to dodge bees is not quite as simple, because you're gonna have to deal with all the orange stuff on the ground as well. You're gonna have less space to roll around in, and so overall just some awkward stuff might happen and you might not get it correctly. Well, if you do Super Slam strats, you need to hit him very soon after he lands, but yeah. That's a whole different topic. So now this is the hardest section to avoid bees at. Let's see if I can get it. If you don't get it, whatever. Just makes the final hit a bit harder. Pray for good RNG on this shit. This is alright, I guess. Oh my god! Okay, that was really awkward, but somehow I still made it. Okay, now I'm gonna do a disclaimer here. If I do fail this, I'm gonna have a cut here, and I'm gonna actually not gonna cut right here, but I'm gonna have a cut somewhere in this fight. I'm gonna show you this fight on my 100% save file, because it doesn't really matter. So, the reason I say that is because if I'm trying to explain this, it's easier to explain if I have more health than what I have right now. Anyway, so these are the final hits, and we're on the almost final phase. So what we have to do is we're gonna have to hit him with these missiles. We don't have Tail Leap, or Lizard Leap, or whatever it's called, and we don't have our flight. So how do we hit him? In these first few shots that he does where he's in the middle, it's not that hard to hit him. Like, you still might miss him a bunch of times. Like, it's not free to hit him here, but you should be able to do it after a little bit of practice. Disclaimer, I don't have that much practice myself, so let's see. You sort of want to wait for this to get really close, and you want to like sort of flutter at him. Wait for him to get close and then flutter at him. It can be really awkward. It might not always work. You see it gets really close to not hitting him, like it just barely hits him. These are the first 3 hits, at least. You can do this different ways. I like doing it by crossing him, and then flying at a stinger, I guess, between his legs. So now it gets really dicey. This is the hardest part of the entire run, and it's the very end. This is like the last minute of the run, and it's by far the hardest part of the entire run. This is why you don't want to run any percent, this phase right here. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to hit him while he flies around with missiles. And yeah, that's not that simple. If you have tail leap or lizard leap, there's another route that gets tail leap or lizard leap. How do I keep saying that? And with that, you can hit him easier by using lizard leap at the edges of the platform as he flies by, and like hit him with missiles like that. Like similar to as I was doing right there, where you sort of get close to him while the missile is close, and you like get between his legs, and you hope the missile hits him. You can do something similar if you have lizard leap, but now that we don't have lizard leap, theoretically it's still possible to hit him by doing the same thing that you would do with lizard leap, but it's a lot harder because you don't get that much height from it. But what we recently found out is you can ride the missiles. So we're gonna ride the missiles. How the missiles work is the missiles have like 2 states, or even 3 states, I would say. They have locked on, they have looking for a lock on, and they have, I don't know how we call it, misguided. And what we're gonna have to do is, or first off, right now what happens is they start off in the very few seconds when the missiles come out, they start off being misguided. Misguided is when the missiles just fly completely straight. They don't do anything, they fly completely straight. You could be like standing next to them, they fly completely straight past you. Then, after the misguided phase happens for a few seconds, they will go into the looking for lock-on state. In the looking for lock-on state, they will go in circles and try and get closer to you. They're really trying to like hone in on you as they can. And then there's the final state, which is completely locked on, which is when they're right on your tail and are like following you around really tightly. So the thing about the looking for lock-on and the actual lock-on phase, there's not that much of a difference, but I think there is actually a difference. Other people might say there's not a difference between the two, it's exactly the same. I think there is a difference because I think if the missiles are completely locked on, I think they can turn a bit tighter. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they do turn a bit tighter if they're completely locked on. Anyway, what we want to do is we want to force a misguided phase. How do we force a misguided phase? Well, if they're in the looking for lock-on phase, it's actually very, very easy. We just sort of have to cross them. If you cross a missile that's trying to lock on, it's immediately going to misguide. It's going to just fly off somewhere completely different because it's going to get misguided. If a missile is already locked on, you can also still misguide him by crossing him, but crossing him becomes a lot harder to do because he's right on your tail, he's right behind you, and he turns really quick. He can turn really quick if he's right behind you and locked on. So I'm gonna try and demonstrate a few misguidings right here. I can't do it always, but right there I crossed the missile. You saw the missile, I was running away from the missile, and the missile was right behind me. And I sort of ran past the missile as it was trying to go towards me, and then it flew past me. And now it's misguided, and you're gonna see what happens when it's misguided. It just flies completely straight. So by crossing a missile, you can make it misguided, and we're gonna try and abuse that. We're gonna make a missile misguided, and while it's being misguided, we're gonna try and jump on it. So, like I said, right now that missile was looking for a lock-on. The turn rate that it had wasn't that good yet. It was very easy to cross it because it was very slow in turning. But the other missile right now is about to get a lock-on, and we're gonna have a lot harder time actually crossing that one. So what you do is you roll a bit away from it, like roll a bit, Go a bit to the side, and then you like do a bit of a jump like that, but of course without hitting the goop. So, and then right there, for example, I tried to get on that missile right there, doesn't quite work. Getting onto missiles is actually fairly difficult. And what you're gonna try and do is you're gonna try and get onto a missile in such a way that capital B is currently flying towards you. So right now there's a missile at the bottom of the street, it's going towards the left. If I were to actually jump on that missile, capital B is on the other side of the arena flying away from me. I can't actually hit him correctly there, so if I were to jump on that missile, wouldn't do anything for me. In theory, right now the missile that's coming towards you on the other side of the arena, like towards where capital B is, that missile, I have to guide it towards the right, misguide it, and then jump on top of it. The reason why I want to jump on top of it is when it gets misguided, it goes upwards a little bit. Usually, the thing is, if we're on the ground while the missile is going upwards, as soon as it stops being misguided and is looking for another lock-on, it's gonna go downwards again. We don't want that. So instead, we're gonna ride it all the way upwards, and then once it's searching for a lock-on again, we can just jump off the missile and guide it right towards capital B's miserable face. Now that is really hard, and I might die a bunch trying to show this off, but like I said, if I die, I'm gonna switch to my 100% save file so I have more health showing this off. Yeah, this is not very easy, so we're gonna try and get a lock on right here, jump on top of it. Nope, didn't quite get it. Try it again on this one. We did land on it, but we're in a really bad spot. That missile got a lock on. A lot of stuff happens in this phase. A lot of stuff happens. This one is in a really bad spot, so I need to like try and reset it. Now I can't see it anymore, so we're gonna need to try and roll past it like this. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna try it again right here. This is so finicky. This is the reason why you don't run any percent, guys. Oh, I couldn't quite make it on top of it, but it's okay. We're gonna keep trying. This is any percent, by the way. What you're watching right now is not just a guide, it's also an attempt of just finishing an any percent run. Like the very first week with this strategy, or where flightless EDS was being a thing and people were also able to do capital B without Lizard Leap. Like the very first week of Lizard Leap-less becoming a thing. People were just happy to finish runs. You would see people just be like, oh my god, I finished a run, guys! Because if you die here, you lose like 5 minutes. You have to do the entire fight over again. You lose like 5 minutes. You have to do everything over again. You might fail it again. You might just lose 5 minutes trying to hit him here. So, not very nice. So, whoops. I accidentally did it too far. You want to like immediately jump on him right as you cross it. Let's see if I can do it. Oh, I actually jumped over it and not on it. It's really finicky. Oh, I think I'm too far away from him. Yeah, you see I'm way too far away from him. The missile's not gonna hit him. So instead I'm gonna try and misguide it right here. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, that's really bad. This is so finicky. I can't overstate how finicky this is to get correctly. I think that's a hit. I didn't quite get him, but you see that it was kind of like that? Okay, now he's too far. The actual spacing is really hard to do on that thing. I don't think I can even get him. I need to like... You get hit here, you have a bunch of health. You're gonna have to try and make do with that. Okay. This might be a hit. Nope. That was really close actually. I might just jump ahead in the video and be like, okay, now I hit him. Ha 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 ha. But yeah, welcome to any percent, guys. Welcome to any percent. This is what you're gonna be stuck on playing for a really long time if you're trying to do any percent. This is what your gun runs are gonna look like. You're gonna practice a lot on early waterworks, you're gonna practice a lot on EDS, and really try and get that down. Be like, oh, okay, I got EDS down, got earlyworks down. Try to get runs in, and then you're like, fuck, you have to do this shit? Ouch, I accidentally hit too far in front. But yeah, this is any percent. Actually, at this point, I could stop the guide because I don't think there's actually anything more at this point. Oh, this might... Okay, nope, never mind. This could have been a hit. Oh, nope. Doing it with 2 missiles is possible, as you can see. It's not quite as simple because you don't get to work on your timing as much as you get to do with just 1 missile, and you also get situations like this where they just both want your ass and you can't really do anything about it. Okay, try and get this one around. Accidentally crossed him. It's also not really nice if the missiles go in the same direction as they go. Like, for example, right now he's going clockwise, the missile is going clockwise. That's actually bad. You want a missile to not be going clockwise in that situation. Try and do it. He keeps getting misguided if that works, by the way. So if you keep standing on the missile, it immediately misguides again. So that's what happens there. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to stop the guide here because there's nothing else to show off at this point. This is the entire run. Just guiding on missile. If you want to see the rest of, if you want to see a run actually finish, watch Carter Freak. He's the current world record holder for any percent. I'm gonna link the speedrun.com leaderboards at in the description of the video. But yeah, I haven't actually finished many any percent runs myself yet because exactly this, and I know many people aren't very motivated to do any percent yet. Instead, if you want to play this game and have fun, play 100 Pagie, play all bosses, play 100% if you're into playing Cardos and Rextro all day, and the last nimble race in Galaxy. Good luck with that one. Anyway, if you want to speedrun this game and you want to have fun doing it, run 100 Pages, run 100%, run all bosses, any of that stuff. Any percent might not be the best. I'm gonna say it right there. But yeah, if you do want to run 80%, this is the guide for it. I can't really say anything else about guiding the missiles. Of course, if you play the game a bunch and you sort of do the missile guiding for a lot longer than even I have, you can get into way better patterns. You can be like, okay, what you want to do is when he shoots his missile, for example, he's right behind. If you okay, let me actually show it off. And actually I can't show it off because I'm dead. Let's say capital B is right where the camera is right now. So camera is where capital B is, and he's shooting his first missile at you, and you know he's flying clockwise. What you could do is you guide the first missile towards the right, you misguide the missile so it flies all the way towards the right, then you take the second missile, you misguide it towards the left where Captain B is about to fly at, and you jump on that missile, and you know for a fact that capital B is about to fly in that direction. The missile is flying to the left as well. You're on that missile and you can jump off and guide the missile right into his face. That's how you can do it. Now also one last thing I do actually need to mention is when you are on the final hit where he shoots the 3 missile and he goes really fast, you can actually jump attack capital B and it will kill him. You can jump attack capital B. I think you can also jump attack him if it's not the final hit. However, you will land in the goo after that. I don't think you can save yourself. Actually, it might barely be possible to glide back onto the platform, but you will probably get hit, and that's not very nice. You don't have a lot of health to spare here, and this is also why we wanted to get the health boost at the very start of the entire game, so we could do that. So yeah, that's the any percent guide, I guess I would say. If you're sad that I didn't actually finish the run in here, yeah, most any percent runners don't finish runs, so the authentic any percent experience, guys. And the thing is, missiles actually make it way easier than before. Before we had missile riding, this was way harder. Missile riding, actually, if you get missile riding down, it becomes a lot easier. It's really hard to get down, and it's also RNG. Like the direction in which capital B flies is actually random. And if he flies, like, I think counterclockwise, I think it's actually harder to hit him than if he flies clockwise. That's also something to keep in mind. So yeah, that was that. If you guys have anything else you want to add in the comments or anything, then yeah, write me a comment. Yeah, that was that. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more videos of me, which might not actually be Yooka-Laylee, because leave a subscribe as well. And yeah, that was that. If you guys enjoyed it, then I'll see you guys next time.